Hey y'all, today we'll be breaking down 2 underrated budget loadouts, and we'll see how to build them. Heading right over to the presets screen, we'll be greeted with a stock AK-74N. This weapon platform tends to be the go-to when it comes to the meta AK builds. However, it still definitely holds up at the budget level as well, when you load it with PP ammo. Starting the build, let's replace the stock handguard with the RS-47, and then we'll slap an RK-4 into that. Then, let's add a DTK-1 muzzle brake. Next, we'll add the rubber butt pad onto the stock, and then end the build with the saw pistol grip. Now, depending on which sight you enjoy using, you may also want to add a Bastion dust cover on. However, I'm going to keep it simple with the OKP7 sight. Overall, this build totals around 79k, assuming you buy absolutely everything from the trader. However, you can definitely get the parts for around 20k less on the flea market. Moving on to the ADAR. Now, I know everybody's quick to hate on the ADAR. However, give it a chance for a second. With a round that's available from level 1 Peacekeeper, that's capable of penetrating level 3 armor easily, and with pretty laser flat recoil, I think it's safe to say that this gun is being kinda slept on. I'll show you how to build it. To start, let's remove the wooden buttstock and the handguard. We'll add the ECS FDE pistol grip and add an M4SS stock onto our buffer tube. From there, we'll put on the RIS FSP 9.5-inch handguard and then slap an RK4 grip onto that. And finally, we'll remove the M4 front sight and replace that with the MK12 gas block. Now, like the AK-74N, depending on which sight you prefer, the price may vary slightly. However, I tend to use the XPS-30, which is pretty pricey, but just use whatever sight you like. Without the sight, the build totals around 85k when buying everything from Trader. However, you can get the parts for around 30k less on the flea market, meaning that it's a pretty cheap build. Now we have 2 platforms to choose from. However, let's take a look at some gear that we can accompany our builds with. Armor can be a tough choice, and honestly in my opinion there isn't any specific armor between level 3 and 4 that's kind of a clear winner for price, stats, or anything else. However, the Rat Rig armor costs 53k, and at level 4 armor, it saves you a pretty decent amount of money compared to most other armored rigs. It also gives you a pretty decent amount of rig space, so in my opinion, you should use this rig if you want to min-max your loadout. Now, when we're looking at helmets, I usually pick either the steel helmet or the 6B47. However, when you really look at the stats, the 6B47 is definitely the clear winner, for all of the stats shown. You can typically purchase 2 bleach on the flea market for the same price as the steel helmet, and really there isn't a reason not to use the 6B47, especially since it also covers the ears, whereas the steel helmet doesn't. For now, I'm going to refrain about talking about which headset you should run, since everyone hates or loves different headsets. I personally use Comtac 4s, however they are very expensive and a lot of people say that they suck. Just experiment in offline raids if you don't already have a preference. Now we're kind of at the end of the loadout, but let's quickly go over some meds that you might want to use. At lower levels, I'd recommend running a car medkit, the 4-use painkillers, and at least 1 cat heavy bleed stopper, or you can use an Eschmark if you'd prefer. However, I prefer the cat just because it takes 3 seconds as opposed to the 5 seconds that the Eschmark takes. Once you're able to craft IFAKs in your hideout, I'd recommend using those, and morphine is a solid alternative to the 4-use painkillers, if you don't mind the 15 to 20k price on the flea market. Overall, these loadouts are really cheap and pretty darn effective for the price, and if you've been wondering what you should be using in Tarkov, why not give one of these a try and see how they work for you? Thanks for watching, let me know in the comments what special loadouts you run, and hey, why not subscribe while you're down there? Thanks for watching, have a great day.